Welcome. So today in this video, we are going to see how we can make use of Azure Computer Vision Service for describing an image. Now in this video, essentially we would be doing three things. One, we are going to create our computer vision resource in Azure portal. Then we are going to go ahead and create our own .NET Core Wrapper web API, which will communicate with the Azure Computer Vision service, and um, this will give us the result back. Now, in this API, we are going to send an image URL to the Computer Vision API, and the Computer Vision API will then analyze it and give us a description back. And finally, we are going to test our application, and we'll see that how Azure Computer Vision API can be accurate. So let's go ahead and create our .NET Core Wrapper API. I beg your pardon, before .NET Core Wrapper API, we need to create our resource in Azure portal. So we'll first go to Azure portal. So as you can see, now I'm here at the Azure portal. All you need to do is you need to go to Azure AI Foundry. Once you land up with the Azure AI Foundry, just expand more services. Here you can see computer vision. Click on computer vision. Once you click on computer vision, you can create your own computer vision instance. Now in the interest of time, I already have one created for me, but if you want to create, you can go ahead and click on create button. Once you click on create button, it will ask you all these questions for creating the computer vision. Now in the interest of time, I already have one created, and these are pretty basic and simple steps, so I'm not covering this part, as you can go ahead and create your own. Once you do that, Azure will automatically deploy your instance, and your computer vision API resource would be ready to use. Now let me go back to the one which I created for myself. Let me click here. So now this is the instance which I created. Now here are two things which are of our use. One is your endpoint and the manage keys. So these would be required in our .NET Core Wrapper API. So now let's go to the .NET Core Wrapper API. So let's go to the .NET Core API. Now as you can see, this is the API which I have created. I have named it as get image description, and I have used HTTP get as an HTTP verb. It is accepting and image URL. So when we are using this API, we will be sending a URL of an image. As you can see here, I have created an endpoint and an API key. Then we are just trying to store the image URL into another variable, and you can see here I'm creating an endpoint. So I end creating a URI. Now I already have an endpoint, and I'm further appending it with the one which you can see on your screen is, and that is we are going to analyze it, and we are going to use a visual feature with description, which should be description. Then we are creating an HTTP client, and we are adding request headers for authentication into that client. Once this is done, we are creating a content. Now the image URL which I have created earlier, I'm going to create the content with that, and then I have an encoding of UTF-8, and I'm sending it with an application slash JSON. Now through client, I'm using a post async method wherein I'm sending in the URI and the content which I have created. As a result, I'll get some sort of a response. Now the when the API responds me with a result, now this is in the form of JSON. In the very next line, I'm trying to parse that JSON. Once the parsing is done, I'm trying to extract a description field from that and a caption field from that. And then we are also trying to extract tags. So once you have caption and tags, we are creating our own response for the users. As you can see in this line here, I'm kind of appending both of them in one after the other line. Once this is done, I'm sending the user with a response of whatever output which I have created here. And if anything goes wrong in between, then we are catching that exception and responding user with the appropriate message. Now let's test this API. Now to test the API, this is the image which I'm going to send to the .NET Core API, and let's see what result it gives. So I've already opened this. Maybe you can use any of your images or any images available online. So let me just copy the URL from here. I've copied the URL, and this time I am using the Swagger. Uh, so once you run your .NET Core application, uh, you will get this Swagger screen. Here I can see my API. I'll just expand this, and since I've already used it before, so I'm directly getting an option to put my image string here. But when you will run it for the first time, it will ask you whether you want to try it out or not, so you will get a try out button here. Once you click on the try out button, then these text boxes would be enabled for you, but for me it is already there. So let me go ahead and paste the image. I've done that, and let me execute it. So as you can see, I've got a response back. uh, Now we have got a successful response, that is okay 200. And as you can see in the response body, we have got caption. Now what it says is that a beach with palm tree and a blue water. And if you have watched our image carefully, then you can see that in the image we have a beach, we have some trees, and we also have a blue water. And you can see what tags the API has returned. It has returned us with water, outdoor, nature, shore, and waves. So as you can see, it has kind of nearly accurately predicted or described image which we have sent. So that's all for this video. Thank you.